Hello, it's day 20 of 30 Days of Sketches, Christy's Beautiful Life, Series 13, and I'm crafting with Amanda. Today our sketch is by the talented Rebecca Lockhart Scraps, and I am using photos from Disney. If you haven't paid attention all month or haven't been here for any of these, I am using photos from a trip we took to Walt Disney World, one in 97, one in, I believe, 2000, the end of 2000, and I have these photos from Animal Kingdom. And I just was fascinated by the Tree of Life. If you haven't been to Disney, they have this, it's kind of like the icon in the center of the park, and it's this Tree of Life. But as you get closer to it, you see that it's not just a gnarly trunk. It's made up of the animals that you find around the world. And not just, animals in Africa or just all over the world, all mixed together. There's rhinos, there's kangaroos, there's snakes, there's bugs, there's everything. And I love this. So now I am trying to emulate Rebecca's sketch here, and I turned it 90 degrees because of the orientation of my photos. And then I did have 3 photos. One was a faraway shot of the Tree of Life, but it wasn't spatially wise, it wasn't working for me, so I took it out, and I just have the 2 where you can see kind of the full tree and then one a little closer of the trunk. But I am auditioning all sorts of papers. This is what I've ended up with. So she has the 3 there without necessarily a mat. It might be a torn tone-on-tone mat behind, but for the album that I'm creating, this kind of goes along with that same feel. Now, because I am creating pages from these 2 Disney World trips, I have decided to use a thread to kind of keep all the pages somewhat, I don't want to say, so they're cohesive, so that there's kind of a pattern to them. So the color Candy Apple needs to be on every layout. And then I have some die cuts or Cricut cuts that I put together this spring. And I also have a Mickey Mouse punch that my friend MISTI lent me, actually 2 of them. And so the color Candy Apple and one of the Mickey Cricut cuts or die punches, the punches, sorry, getting my words confused, need to be on the page. So here I used my dies and cut out these letters. And so I'm just making sure that they would fit on the tag, and I thought they would, but as you will see here in a minute, they really don't. So I'm trying to audition which colors I want to use to cut the tags out of. And this was a layout, I don't know if you've had this, that I put together the background paper and got the photos on the double mats, and then I didn't know what else to do. I didn't have any other Cricut cuts that worked. I didn't feel like just having the Mickey heads down there worked. And then I know several of the other pages I've used tags on, and I thought, okay, I'm going to create tags. That's where my journaling will go on. That's where I can put the title, and then I can do some embellishment clusters around that. Now these are old washi tapes that I've had around for a while. So this one particularly, the outer edges, the outer wraps were dry, so I pulled off a length until I got to the part that has sticky again. And then I'm just going to add these to my tags just to give them another little pop of something. While I am doing that, I will invite you to subscribe to my channel. If you see a red subscribe button under the video, you can press that to subscribe to my channel, or you can always like the video, and that helps me out as well. Neither one of those costs you anything. So now is where I'm going to learn that these letters are too tall and will not fit on the tag as it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a tag. And if you haven't die cut so that you can make something a little longer or stretch it, I'm going to show you how to do that here. I just have this little mini Gemini desktop die cutting machine. And so I'm putting my tag thin cut on my paper, and then you'll see here that I folded the plastic without the end being on it. So then what I can do is I snip the 2 sides off that cut, and then on my cutting or with my cutter, sorry, I go ahead and trim off the sides. And I did have a little bit of issue in that my blade wasn't all the way down, and so I got some frayed edges, and then I tried to go back and correct it, and then the bottom of the tag slipped to the right. Not that any of this has ever happened to you, but that's what I'm working with here. So I kind of got that trimmed off, but then I needed to use scissors to clean it all up. So I am doing that off camera here. I apologize for that. I do have my eyes as I age are failing me some, and so I do have to kind of work off camera sometimes to make sure that I am cutting it out correctly. So now I am going to put my letters on before I cut the bottom length, because then I can make sure that it's exactly the length that I want it. So here I am using another washi tape. Again, this has been hanging around in my stash for many years unused, so I took off a length of the dry stuff to get to the good stuff. And I'm just wrapping the ends around the back of the tag, going to dry fit my letters here, and then it's funny, I realized that, oh, well, you don't need to dry fit them, you just need to go ahead and put them on because you have as much length as you need. But sometimes those things just don't come to me right away. I did use 2 different styles of thin cuts for my lettering, and I really like how that turned out. So I won't have you watch me put all of these letters on, but I just glued them on with that fine point glue of, I use Aleene's glitter glue. A friend got me hooked on that, and I just love it. So now I have my title tag, I have my journal tag ready to go, and for me, sometimes I will go ahead and tie knots in my ribbon. These particular ribbons, I'm just feeding them through because I love the grosgrain and I like them at the angle, so I feed them through and then trim off where they got a little bit disheveled being pushed through the circle, and then I will use glue dots to kind of hold the ribbon to the tag and then also to the paper. So here I am grabbing just a roll of glue dots and making it so it's a little easier to work with. I don't know, sometimes I fight with my glue dot paper and how can I hold it to see the dot and put it on my project. If you have that problem, you are my people, and we can unite and work around this. We will figure it out. So I am placing my tags here, just going to use some adhesive runner to tack these down. And I'm trying to find the balance of where it's on the tree a little bit, but that all the journaling words could be said, and the tag isn't off the side of the page. And so, okay, I can make this work. And as soon as I put this down, I mean, it was right away, I realized it didn't feel right. And so now I'm going to go looking into the stash to see if I have any embellishments that I can correct what's going on visually here, because it's with the photos kind of being a little tilted and the tags being tilted the same direction but not the same angle, my eye is just not happy. So I grabbed some stickers from, I believe it's the Stitch Together sticker sheet from that paper pack. I'm going to sneak in one of my little Mickey heads, again to meet my personal criteria for this album, and I'm not feeling it. So I probably looked at this for a good 2 minutes. And if that doesn't sound like a long time, just look at something for 2 minutes and see if, see how long it feels. Because it felt like I just kept looking at this going, it doesn't feel right. So now I'm going to take this tag off and I'm going to try to maybe stack one up top, but then I realize I want my title to be at the top. So journaling in the bottom, title kind of over top of it. Now they're going in different directions, and my blood pressure is lowering and life is better. So if you like the other layout, go for it. For my style, this fits so much better. So now I'm going to go ahead and add those stickers back on. And again, trying not to cover my journaling. I'm okay with covering a little bit of the words of the title because you can still read Tree of Life. And then I'm looking to see what else I need. I feel like I need something to help draw your eye up to the photo. So I'm going to use a butterfly here. And I like to make my butterflies kind of pop off the page. So on the very outside of the butterfly wings, I'm adding this 3D foam tape. And then I just pinch using my thumbnail the body. So the body is adhered flat to the paper, and then the wings are kind of up off of the page. And I like how that looks. I'm going to add this leaf underneath. And then I think all that's left is adding some gems, something sparkly to draw your eye. I did think about using shimmer brushes on the flowers and the butterfly, but I thought the gems were enough of a sparkle and I didn't want it to compete. But that is something that you can always do to your project, is to add some shimmer brush just to give you a little bit of shine. And this is it. The project is over. I will remind you that all the participants in the 30 days of sketches, there's a playlist below the video description, one for everybody, and then there's one for just my 30 days of sketches project. Links below for tools I use. Have a great day. Blessings.